Hi everyone, this is Sachin, and today with me I have Shannon Gregory, and she's with live and layered blood microscopy.
You got it.
And so we're going to be doing a live blood analysis of yours truly, and we're going to see what comes up. You know, the cool thing about live blood analysis is that it gives you a different perspective, a perspective that you might not see in stool, you might not see in organic acids, and it's live. So you're going to see stuff wiggling around. You're going to see some what my actual red blood cells look like, and if there's anything in the blood, you're going to see that as well. So I don't know what's going to come up. It should be really interesting to see what pops, and I'm excited. I've had this done before, and last time I saw like what looked like an inchworm moving around in my blood. So we'll see if that comes up again. And then we're also going to talk a little bit more about live blood analysis. Maybe Shannon, you're going to obviously share your information, and this is going to be really cool. So I'm being totally transparent here. I'm kind of nervous, as you can probably imagine, because I don't know what's going to show up on the screen. But we're going to take you through this journey, and that way you get to be live here with me. So welcome everyone, and just show some hearts, show some love, show some likes. If you've ever had this done, I would love to see how your experience was, and you're going to see Shannon's passion come through in this. She's extremely passionate about this, so I'm super excited to see what comes up, and yeah, let's get started. So
excellent. Here we go. So we do use a lancet, just like a diabetic needle, and this enables us to get a really great sample. So what we're going to do here, we're going to get you ready. I like to use the middle finger because it's the one to the heart. It's the vein to the artery, and that way I do get a good amount of blood. So here we go. Very, very simple. Because my company, oh, didn't get you too good here, so let's go a little, here we go. Because my company, let me just get this, there we go. With Microcell Sciences, what we want to do is, tech is huge. And with the microscopes and things like that, you want to ultimately make sure that you're running some high tech to be able to see the pathogens we see in today's society. The main thing here with live blood is Western medicine, for instance, your family doctors, they believe the blood is sterile. And that's where we're a little different from Western medicine. That's a gorgeous sample we've gotten. So what happens is we know that unfortunately we've adapted to today's environment. And what happens is we are exposed to parasites, bacteria, certain pathogens on a daily basis. And these are the type of things that we are looking for in between to kind of help with that puzzle piece. So what I've got here is I've got a little sample, and we're going to blood type and find out what the blood type is. The blood type matters a lot to what's happening in the blood, because if you're more of an A blood type, you flourish on more fruits and vegetables. If you're more of an O, you are what cavemen were. So this is where it tells me a huge story to what I'm going to see and how digestion is, energy, cardio, all sorts of things. So right now, I'm just mixing up the solution. So what I put on there was a little bit of chemistry, and already we're clotting and showing that we're a B. Now, I don't do the positive and minus because that's more for blood transfusions. So what we're looking at here, and I'm just going to kind of put it towards the camera. It's quite kind of difficult to see, but Dr. Sachin is a B blood type. Now, B is fabulous. That's a wonderful blood type to be. I'm as well a B. We're helpers. Mm-hmm. As a B blood type, Bs do originate more from India. So this is where Bs were created, because they started milking goats, growing wheat, things like that. And if I did an ancestry, you know, one of those companies, they go back, mine would go back to India as well, because I'm a B. This is where we began. B was created, O was first, then A, and then B. And it kind of evolved depending on what we put in our body. So these are all little things we talk about throughout the appointment. And at the end of the appointment, I'm going to give you a whole package with all this information in it, because it's a lot of information all at once. Okay. So what we're going to do, I am going to make this go full screen so we can get a nice big picture. I'm going to bring this up on my microscope, so I'm just going to turn my back here. Like I said, tech is everything. I run HD. I need to be having high tech, really good microscopes, because this matters to the pathogens we see. And this is where, in some cases, some microscopes can't view all of the major, minor, minute pathogens that are so tiny. You need that extra HD to be able to see that. Okay? So here we go.
Now, how would AB show up? Because I always thought it was AB.
Okay, so you clotted just on the B side. We can double check, okay, at the end. What we'll do is we'll definitely double check that. But if it was AB, it would have clotted on both sides, and I only clotted on the one. So let's check at the end, and let's double check, okay? So here you are. I brought you up on screen. So we're going to move around. So what I'm looking at, this is from the bird's eye view. And what I'm looking at is I want to know, am I seeing proteins? What am I seeing in the background? Am I seeing the appropriate amount of white blood cells? Am I seeing this moving or clotting together? Okay, so I'm about to zoom in much deeper, and then I will go full screen and we'll talk about what we're looking at.
Okay, let me see.
Here we go.
Move this in.
And here you are. Awesome. So let's just get you in sync here. There we go. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Okay, your cell structure looks beautiful. Awesome. So I'm going to grab that mouse. Let's go full screen. Here you are. That's excellent. Now, there's a few things I'm seeing right off the bat. So let's tighten this image. Right off the bat, here is the actual red blood cells. And in this case, love how they're all very circular. Now, everybody's looking at this weird one right in the middle here, okay? Looks kind of like a little creature of some kind, but it's not. What it is, it does have a little bit of a parasite in it. We need to look a lot more in regards to this, okay? But what's happened is there's eggs inside these bumpy cells, and what happens is it destroys the cell. Now, this isn't enough to say we have parasites. We all have some sort of parasites in our body. This is totally normal. However, in this picture, we want to see who, what, where, when, how of the parasites. What kind? What, how long have you had it? Are there females? Are there males? We need so much more information, and we can see this. So we're going to dive in and see what we're going to see. In this background, see this little fluttering here? That is food digesting, okay? And in a perfect world, when I put you on screen, I want this flying on screen. So why is it not flying? Let's move for a moment. So in a big picture, why it's not moving is the liver is the workhorse of the body. It has to clean the blood. And often when we start addressing liver, it will clean up the plasma. So what's happening in this circumstance is your liver isn't on overload. It's not needing a massive detox, but it may need a bit of liver supportive foods, maybe some dandelion, perhaps some beets, even juicing, excellent type of things to really get this flowing a lot more and making the blood a little less sticky, or the plasma a little less sticky. When we have high amounts of liver toxins in an individual, they can have numerous type of symptoms. They can have fatigue, they can have bloating, bubbly tummy, numerous things, even a pain on our liver area. And what that is that our plasma is sticky, it's thick, and what we need to do is get the spicules, is what we call it, out. Now, Dr. Sachin doesn't have any spicules, so we're not able to see them, and that's why I'm suggesting he does more natural stuff. We don't need to do an overhaul here on that liver. We just need to have him poop out a little bit of what needs to be released from the blood to keep that liver working the best it can. Now, there's a few other things we're seeing here. So see this funny glowing one here? That is what a B12 deficiency will look like. Now, it's normal to have a few showing a lack of B12. What does that mean? Oxygen can't inhabit that cell all the time. And some people can't absorb B12. And these are things that in our profession, we want to address. Absorption. And this is why this is an amazing tool to see what's going on. Why are you not absorbing those minerals? Why are you not methylating B12? Okay, so let's move around. You are very well hydrated. Beautiful. See again, some of these funny looking cells right here, they had parasites in it. They've been moving in and out of the cells. Here again, a little bit of B12 deficiency. Here is a cell of a parasite inside, and he's eating your B12. We get a lot of individuals, both of us, who has anemia issues, who can't absorb iron. A huge component is these parasites because they feed on our iron, they feed on our B12. Another huge question is, why are these parasites not caught on stool samples? There's a reason why. Because what our medical side feels is these parasites are a non-pathogen parasite. What we're looking at here is environmental. This is nothing you can do differently to not get these. These are on our phones, they're on our tablets, they're in our food, they're with our children. It's just part of the life we're living, being multicultural, traveling all over the world. We bring these back. And this is where also in Lake Ontario, we've put stool in our lake for 30 years. And again, as practitioners, we talk a lot about water and what water to drink. And this is where, unfortunately, I've done studies at the University of Toronto where a lot of these type of parasites are chlorine resistant because they've adapted. They've adapted to what we do. So I do a lot of different research from in behind to ensure what we're looking at. Now, this is the third one I've seen. See this one that looks like a kidney? Kidney needs a bit of flush. Okay? So this is indicating you may have some sludge in that kidney, and that's the third one just in those little windows. So I'm going to score your kidney higher. That indicates we know it's not water is required, but you may have to move a little bit of junk, and that may be why the liver isn't as detoxed as we want to see it for you. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out and I want to move around the sample. But before I do that, before I do that, sorry guys, I want to show you one thing before I move the screen. It's really hard for you guys to see this, but right here, and I'm going to try and zoom in a little deeper as we go along. That is a female parasite. See the worm inside there? It's different from B12. See this glow? See that? You can actually see a body. Okay? So that's what I need to tell you, because again, as practitioners, if we have a client that is full of female worms, we know they're multiplying a lot faster. Okay?
Shit's wiggling around in there.
That's amazing, isn't it? So this is easy for us.
Well, maybe it's amazing in somebody else's
Yes,
life, right?
but here's the thing where this is definitely doable. This is not something you're stuck with. This is something, again, as practitioners, we can get rid of this. And we sometimes see this come out in our stool, and this is okay. This is normal. But I believe these are a huge component to a lot of the fatigue and digestive upset we're seeing in a day-to-day life. So another kidney indication. Go ahead. So just some history for you guys. I'm vegetarian and mostly vegan, so that could potentially explain the B12, but I do take a sublingual B12. Okay. So there could be something else in terms of how that's being metabolized or utilized. Exactly. That, needs to be investigated. Again, here's a kidney indication. Okay, so I'm just moving around the sample. Here's an egg inside the cell. Here's another little egg. Here's another one that's just starting. This is B12. Okay, here's another little egg down here. So here's another kidney indication. So I'm going to score you high in needing a bit of something. Parsnips are fabulous on the food aspect, I find, to change that kidney, which is wonderful. So I brought my chef with me. There you go. Down in the corner, let's look at the immune. Now, Dr. Sachin's immune is beautiful. So this is where, this is a neutrophil. See this white, glowing, beautiful glistening? It's actually fascinating what this guy's doing right now. Because right here and right here are parasites beside it. It's recognized that it's parasites, and it's actually trying to draw the cell in, and it wants to fix that cell. That's excellent. Now, see these little black parts in here? That's the nuclei. That tells me a huge amount of information as to how old is this? How old is the immune? The more nuclei I see gives me the age of it, because this type of immune doesn't necessarily last that long in the system. Neutrophils are the Hoover vacuum of our system, and that's exactly, there, clean the cell. That's exactly what it's doing, is it's cleaning what it needs to clean. We are seeing a lot of cells where your immune is cleaning the parasites out. So sometimes you may find that you're not absorbing water as best as you could because of the parasites. They kind of damage the cell. Here's another one, a little bit of damage up here. So here's where I want to see this change a bit. I want to see these cells more circular. I don't want little tubular at the end there, okay? No food allergies being seen here. No protein being seen because you're digesting it appropriately. Yep, exactly. Let's move along.
For the win.
That's right. Here's a little bit of fat. So this is interesting. This could indicate why our kidney. We've got a little bit of gallbladder, liver, kidney flagging here. We may need to flush that a little bit. Okay? Some of these crystals in the back are indicating liver as well. We see white crystals when the liver needs a little bit of help there. And for you, it's more support needed than anything. Really interesting. These are all baby immune cells coming up. So this tells me spleen is functioning well. They need to grow into something. And a lot of the time, we'll be seeing this glisten as well. See this X inside the cell? Lacking iron. Okay? But it's minimal. That X that you guys can't really see too well, but that X there would be more predominant if I needed more iron in that cell. So I'm not overly concerned. Here again, this is a beautiful immune. Here's his immune, eating a, see that? Eating a parasite right there, pulling it out. That is
there. You guys see that?
Beautiful. So he's
see how
actually
amazing our
pulling
bodies
it.
are? Yeah.
And this is where this is a fine-tuned machine, and it's so important to keep our body alkaline, keep our body clean, because then our immune can physically work on the things that enter in the body, then be having to work on pathogens. Here's a little parasite coming out of that cell. Do you see it wiggling at you here? Now, the type of parasite you have is a former roundworm. From my science and my research, it's Ascaris. We get this everywhere. This is something we can't get away from. It's on gas stations. It's on our ATM machines. They can live on glass surfaces. Okay? So we usually, if one client has it, we treat the whole family because everybody has it. It's not that it's airborne, but it lives on surfaces. And this, again, is so normal. But a lot of bloating, a lot of irritable bowel symptoms, this is a huge component of it. So, again, we can really address this, and you watch them die and leave the body. Here he is, again, pulling out another parasite over here. Now, your stress looks pretty good. I'm really happy with how the adrenal glands are functioning. It looks to me like you're supporting your adrenals, personally, okay? And that's where I'm not seeing any huge amount of stress showing here. That's excellent. But a lot of people will show stress in the blood, and we can see this too. And again, for practitioners and things, or even the general public, we want to know, is our stress coming from our adrenal gland where we need to support cortisol, either it's high or low, or is it coming from just stress in the body? So this is again where we do urine tests too to back up the validity of what we're seeing, because it's really important. We're all about research. See this right here in the middle? Brand new cell being born. Again, excellent to see this. Okay, so let's keep moving around. You're looking really good.
Now I do have Thalassemia Minor.
Okay, yeah.
So where would that show up?
It doesn't. In the blood, it doesn't necessarily show up. That's where we kind of have to peel this onion a bit more. Sometimes I need you almost clean to see thalassemia. Okay? So I would say the follow-up visit, we may see more. Okay? See that damaged cell? Parasites have been going in and out. So we want to make sure we get that. And that's where we can talk about simple suggestions, and I'm sure you even know simple suggestions of getting rid of the parasites. Because regular parasite cleanses you get at health food stores don't always work, because we've adapted differently.
I wish I could play a video game and just like zap these things.
I know.
That'd be cool.
Here again is your immune. This is one. I love that we've come across this. So over here, beautiful, brand new cell emerging. Again, we're getting a good amount of omegas in this diet because we're seeing healthy cells. See this? This is a neutrophil. See his bag is broken? He's done his job. He's dead, okay? So if I'm seeing this all over the client, it would tell me I've got immune stuff happening. Now, we don't have this happening with you because we can see that it's active and it's doing what it needs to do. But if I was seeing this all over, I might be seeing more inflammatory responses in people. Autoimmune, a hypersensitive immune. So it tells us different things by what the nuclei is doing.
What's
beautiful. That's adrenal stress.
Okay.
So that's how stress will show. And see how you're not, we had to look for that. We would be seeing that all over if it was an issue.
Okay.
So I like what you're doing for your adrenals. Also, I like what the immune system's doing, and I like how you're absorbing. We're not seeing B12 everywhere, okay? But we're seeing B12 around parasitic areas, and we know they eat B12.
So what are the iron?
These are indeed.
Okay.
Let's keep going. Here again, a few more immune that the bags are broken. It's just, this is an area they've done what they need to do. Beautiful over here. Okay, gorgeous. Here's another one, a small cell stuck in a bit of stress. Now, I'm going to take this and I'm going to center it and I'm going to zoom in so that everybody can see, because this is something interesting. This is bacteria, okay? So this is stage 1 of bacteria. Now, again, we all have a certain amount of bacteria in our body, okay? But for us, we need to look at what's normal bacteria. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to make sure I get it right bang in the middle here. And what is abnormal bacteria. So here I am going quite deep in. And I'm hoping to be able to get it here for us.
So while you're doing that, I just want to, for those of you that are tuned in, this will be available to watch later. And I will be sure to share Shannon's information. Again, it's live and layered blood cell microscopy. We're in Oakville, Ontario, where we're having this done. And we're in the process of perhaps potentially introducing this into our practice for our patients. But for now, we're going to endorse them coming down here because this would be a great complement to some of the testing that we have done. And now you get a different vantage point of what's going on inside your body. And it's cool to be able to see this. Usually when we get lab testing done, you've got to wait a few weeks to get the results back. And this is instantaneous. So for dopamine junkies like me who want results right away.
It's amazing.
Does that show up in here, dopamine junkies?
So we've zoomed into something really interesting here.
Okay.
See this little circle right here, everyone? I hope you guys can see this little dot. Yes, you can. I can see you can see it. I wish you could it would be a little clearer, but this is actually dead coccus. So what is coccus? Coccus is a bacteria that, honestly, today's times, we find it in numerous patients, do we not? Coccus is a form of strep throat to a certain degree, but there's lots of different forms of coccuses. Now, coccus is kind of a stage 1 of a bacteria. But at certain age groups will carry more, it's your cell opening up a little bit. Certain age groups will carry more coccus. Now, being this isn't flying on screen or moving, it's dead. It's dying. So coccus, I don't want to be seeing with a whole bunch of balls on it. That would be more strep, right?
Coccus and balls.
Not necessarily good. There you go. Yeah. Now, up here, this is a bit of bacteria. And now this one here is phase 1 of bacteria. The buzzing, before I zoomed in, there was some nucleus in there that was buzzing. Our job is to look at how much is buzzing inside, because it can go up to 12 nucleus buzzing inside. And that would be the strength of the bacteria. See how it's morphing a little bit? Mm-hmm. There's actually a parasite hidden right in there. Do you see him wiggling up here? You see him right there?
This needs to be a video game.
It totally, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This is food. So I'm going to zoom back out, but I really wanted to show you this zoomed in, okay? And show how bacteria can morph. Mm-hmm. Because that's what bacteria does. It has a form of DNA, and no matter if I grew coccus on a petri dish, it's going to grow the same way.
So Brandy's asking, what do you do to remove dead coccus? Maybe we'll
Amazing.
get to that.
Yes.
And then another question I saw popped up is, is this available in London? I would imagine you're referring to London, Ontario.
Yes.
Do you have a practitioner out there?
The closest, I don't have a practitioner in London, but the closest one I do have is Waterdown, and I also have Ancaster area. So not too long of a drive. We are definitely going to be moving into the London area, though, in the next 5 years.
Awesome. So worth the drive in the meantime.
It is. It really is. Here's another little bit of coccus sticking here. Okay, and yes, we'll certainly get to how we get rid of biofilms coccus, parasite inside there. That's why you're seeing the glow. They're eating the oxygen. Okay?
Damn you, parasites.
It's true. So what I would do, Dr. Sachin, while you get rid of the parasites, I would stop your B12 because you don't want to feed them. So I'm now on the hunt, and I want to see if I'm seeing a heavier parasitic area so I can show them what the worms look like. And I know that sounds so yucky, but guys, this is so normal, and you feel so much better when you get these out, because the body, the vitality is so much better because there's nothing impeding the intracellular of our cells. So here's another. This is a female in there. You have more females than males, okay?
Ladies love me.
So let's keep moving. Again, here's another one coming out of the cell. Here's a female inside the cell here, okay? Let's keep going. Here's another one inside this cell. This is why we don't like the parasites in the cells. These are something taking up rent. We shouldn't be having things inside our red blood cells. We need them circular and flowing. And this is where down the road, maybe we'll do another live video of when we clean you up, because the before and after is really where it's at. It's amazing watching the after and proving the validity of that's kidney over here. That's B12. A lack of
it looks like it's bouncing around in there.
food. You're looking through it. So it's food behind it in the actual plasma.
Okay.
Okay? So we're zooming out again. Let's keep moving around.
How are you guys finding this? This is pretty interesting, eh? If you're enjoying it, just give us a like, give us a heart. If you're interested in this, like I said, it's live and layered blood cell microscopy. And Shannon, your number is here, so I'm going to give that. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Actually, this is the wrong one.
Oh, yeah. Let's do this one right here.
Okay.
So that's our head office.
You can schedule an appointment. I'm here in Oakville. The phone number here is at Balance Point Healthcare Center. It's 289-291-0254. And I'll be sure to post that and share that a little bit later. If you're in the Port Credit area, it looks like Nindy's there. Nindy, shout out to Nindy, who's also a practitioner, and she's in the Port Credit area at Lakeside Natural Health. That's 905-274-4375. So find a location close to you, and this might be even a good Christmas gift or a good way to kick off the new year. You can see what's going on inside your body in real time.
We do have 8 locations across Toronto to Ancaster. So on our website of Microcell, it shows all the locations and where they are for anybody convenient.
Okay.
And if you see anybody at Living Proof, what we would do is we would send them the information so that they can treat you. We're working more as a blood lab to assist practitioners. Of course, the general public comes and sees us, but what we're building as a whole is to build like a life lab you would go to for regular medicine. We use this for our alternative.
Live Labs, that's your name, Live
Yeah,
Labs.
there you go. So I'm in an area I just wanted to show. We've got, again, a few little parasites. You look amazing in the bacterial element, okay? So this is good. You've done work where I'm not seeing a lot of bacteria at all, which is fabulous, okay? I'm definitely, the kidney, we're going back to again. We're seeing a bit of the B12. It's the parasite that's eating it. Once you get rid of the parasites, the B12 will balance. It's amazing.
Okay.
You'll start absorbing so much better. Again, here's a little worm. It's hard for the people on screen, but he's about a year old, and that's a male.
Okay? A year old?
He's about a year old.
Bastard.
I know. Let's keep moving. All of these cells that are bumpy like this have eggs inside them, okay? So our job is to have you poop out those eggs, and unfortunately, you'll see some of these come out. You may see it in a little bit of white worms. You may see it in little tiny seeds. This is all normal.
Okay, so people ask me to repeat the numbers. So the best thing to probably do to find a location near you is to go to microcellsciences.com. Can you put that in the feed there? So microcellsciences.com. This will show up backwards because it's on Facebook Live, but you can check it out there.
Here's another interesting spot. See some of these cells that are fuzzy? They're damaged from the parasites. And see this one right in the middle that looks like a sun? It's really hard to see. That's an amoeba. That comes from travel. That comes from Mexico, Dominican, Costa Rica. Okay?
Costa Rica. We just went there for 10 days.
There you go. Okay, here's an interesting one coming up. So here's about a few parasites all stuck together. I'm sorry, guys, that it's a tricky one to see here because we got a lot going on this screen. But unfortunately, poor for Dr. Sachin, it looks a little bit like a spider in the blood. But all this is, again, these are about 4 years old in there, but all it is a former roundworm, okay? Environmental. So this is where it's really important. Here's another little worm. He's about 3 years old. So I know by my studies and what I've done at the university to know how old they are. And these are different studies that I've done. Here's a little bit of coccus in the corner here. Again, tricky for people to see it here, but ultimately, this is a bit of a stew we're looking at here. So again, our job is to clean this up. And for you, a lot of it is in the plasma than anything.
Is that good or bad?
It's neither. It's more of data than anything. Here's another little guy right here, another little inchworm. Again, a few more, but we're in a bit of a colony area. Here's something protein you ate, okay? Now, I'm going to just scroll down. That's okay. This is very interesting to have for video. So this is really interesting what's happening here. I don't know what this is. It looks like a lentil. I'm not 100% sure, but this is some kind of protein that you ate. Now, because you're so clean and you don't feed your body an enormous amount of yeast and sugar, all the parasites, look, are latching to this. Do you see all these cells are stuck to it? And they're all full. They're not round and we can see through. They have the eggs. This tells me you have a very clean diet because they're doing whatever it takes to stay alive. Parasites, like bees, they'll do whatever they need to do to keep things going. Now, see this orange down here? Okay, that's acidity. That's because we're in a bit of a stew area. I expect to see acidity. The off gas of these, again, create an acidic environment. And people that can't get over alkalinity, can't get their body to alkaline, a lot of these simple things, eradicating these from the body, help push you over to that alkaline. This often is that puzzle piece that's missing.
How big is this? Can
This
you zoom out?
I can go further, yeah. So it looks huge to us, but it's really not in the whole big picture. So it looks like quite a long piece, but this was something you ate and it looks about 3 days old.
Is it a circle or is it?
No, let's move down.
Isn't it bad if food is in the blood?
It can be, absolutely. But we also want to think about a certain form of leaky gut. Our gut lumens these days are leaky, right? And it doesn't mean this is leaky gut, okay? But it means sometimes when we have parasites, pathogens, bacteria, they create perforations in that gut lumens. And unfortunately, food can sneak out. So once we clean this stuff out, it's amazing. The food gets sealed in there. And we don't have to necessarily do leaky gut type of things to get rid of this.
Would you say that this is a lot of protein or a little bit of
Not
protein?
at all. Not at all. This is not. Sometimes we see so much protein, I'm scoring people very high, and I know it could be a weight gainer for them. I know that it could be that, they're bloating because they eat that dinner, and then they're like, oh my gosh. And it could come down to the fact that they may not have enough bile in their gut because of that gallbladder, because of the parasites. There's so much, as we know, intertwined things.
Okay.
Sibo is another huge thing that we do see. And what is Sibo? It's an intestinal bacteria overload. And this is another huge thing that I look at. Now, Dr. Sachin, he's pretty clean. We're not seeing huge amounts of bacteria. But at the end, when we start talking treatment, I'm going to show you a few videos of what Lyme disease could look like and what Sibo could look like.
Okay.
Because honestly, you're clean. You look great. We just have very simple things to do here. Okay? And a lot of food stuff you can do.
You're not just saying that
No, not
for
at
the
all.
video, right?
Looks good.
Okay.
So a few things we can do for us to always keep these parasites out of our blood and things. Number one, pumpkin seeds is amazing. So ground pumpkin seeds really, really help because for some reason it makes them run and it moves them through the bowel.
I had pumpkin seeds yesterday.
There you go. That may be where we're seeing a few more, and maybe you got some coming out. Hard to know. Another component is probiotics is, of course, another huge thing. I don't want to get into huge treatments because, honestly, when you're getting rid of bacteria and parasites, you really need to have a practitioner walk you through it. It's not something you go into, these health food stores and have anybody prescribe because there's so much more that we're thinking behind. Bowel, lymphatic. Again, when you have bacteria, parasites, things like this, we have to support that lymphatic system because we're moving pathogens and toxins.
Right.
There's much more that us as practitioners are looking for. So please utilize us and our knowledge in helping getting these things out of the body. Okay? Flaxseed oil, excellent as well to help keep that bowel moving. So as we're moving around, we're seeing a few of these, we're getting a bit of linkage. The linkage indicates Reuleaux, and what that means is a little bit of inflammation in the body, a titch. And it is coming a little bit from that digestive tract of yours that's not functioning as well. That gallbladder, kidney, liver, the main things that I would address. Maybe a small whole body cleanse, maybe do some juicing geared towards that, being you're a vegetarian. Because this is something you could do through juicing. But the parasites, you need to get them out. They've adapted, and there's nothing food-wise that I can tell you that'll fully get rid of them.
Right.
It can Band-Aid it. but we need to physically kill them and shoot them out. Okay? Unfortunately.
No. Fortunately, we need to kill these guys.
Yeah. And then you and I can talk more of the different type of things that we do. That I know Dr. Sachin has one of his practitioners, Dr. Ricky, who works with him. He is amazing at helping with getting this bacterial ailments out. And he's had a few patients that he's had amazing success with the microbials that you stock in clinic of getting these out. And we've had amazing before and afters of moving these pathogens, okay? So it's really a fascinating endeavor watching your body change. It's so motivating being in charge of everything and watching that happen. So let's zoom out again. Let's keep moving around. Let's move to the other side of the sample. I get over 7 million cells to look at. So this is where we're traveling. Now, right now we're looking. We're not seeing any other protein here. That's a good thing, okay? Where a lot of people, I'll be seeing fats, all sorts. That was that protein we already saw. We're moving along. Here we go. Okay, so here I am on my bird's eye. This is what fats will look like, not digesting. Backing up again, a little bit of gallbladder needing a bit of assistance.
Could it be, I had MCT oil this morning. Could it be that?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And that's absolutely. Let's keep going. Again, see how, let's look at this from a river standpoint. See how here it's moving through the river? This is where your blood is kind of like a river. It is in the whole body. And if that river isn't free flowing, we're tired. We're not sleeping well. We don't look as great as we could.
So what should we expect to see?
I want this open and flying on screen. Okay? I want to see this whole thing moving. And when you start addressing these simple things, this is where we'll really start seeing this moving. Okay, let's keep going down. That's an air bubble on the slide there. You got a perfect amount of immune system, meaning we've got a good amount of neutrophils, a good amount of basophils. I'm not seeing any concerning things such as a high rise of eosinophils, which could be rashes, allergens, things like that. But when you have parasites, you want to look too to see, are we seeing too many eosinophils? Are we having an allergy response because your body thinks the parasites are an allergen?
Right.
Make sense? So we're seeing all normal parameters here for you. So let's zoom into this area. Move away from here. There we go. Okay, so we're seeing a little bit of stress here. Okay. Again, I think if I was to guess what your adrenals were doing, I think they're almost pretty normal, but you could be running slightly hyper. Okay, not fatigued, you'd be sitting just light, needing more of B vitamins. But it looks like you're taking something to support that adrenal gland, and whatever it is, it's working amazing. Okay? Another brand new cell. Fabulous. We can't beat that. I can tell because of the little nuclei happening there, and then all of a sudden, it comes out. It takes 30 days for these new cells to come out. So it's great to see this. Again, tricky to see for you guys, but a little bit of bacteria dying over here. Happy to see it dying, okay? And a lot of irregular cells. We want to see that change, and that'll change as you get these simple pathogens out. Let's keep going down here. Oh, these a beauty. Okay, so this is incredible watching this. So you actually have 2 neutrophils working on your stress. Do you guys see him stretching? That is why your immune is phenomenal. And this is where he, I think, is going up to this kidney cell, and he doesn't want this tubular protrusion coming out of it. So he might grab him. Let's see what he does. So because you've got quite a few, he's used to seeing it. So what their job is to grab on, and they want to hoover these things up. See these over here. Again, did you have a cold recently? No. So this is just phase 1 of bacteria sitting in the system, and we're not concerned. If I saw these buzzing and these circles with 8 to 10 nuclei, I know you're catching something. Okay? Here is a monocyte. See how it doesn't have the nuclei? Okay? So this is another kind of immune. This could be seen in this area because we had a bacteria. His job is, oh look, he's going to the bacteria. That is very interesting.
See that, Deeps?
So here's what we're looking at here. We have his immune, a neutrophil, our Hoover vacuum, and it's going in to bacteria where I'm pointing here, and he's going to clean up that bacteria. Once again, fabulous immune system. But I find the immune an incredible, incredible thing. It is just wow. Mm-hmm. How they know what to do is just amazing.
So what would you see, like we see a lot of autoimmune patients in our office. What would their formation look like?
I see lots of different autoimmune. MS, all sorts of different things, okay? And this is where the immune it's all about the immune. Mm-hmm. We want to look that they're not fighting each other. Okay. Because as MS, I'm just going to use that because my own mother has MS, so this is where I've trained on MS. The immune tends to actually fight each other. Also, we would see this very large and hypersensitive. A lot of the time, the bags will be broken. What we talked about that, where the nucleus is open and kind of spilling out. We need to often support that immune. But it's important for us to look, is it overactive? Is it underactive? How many is there? Mm-hmm. So in immune suppressed or autoimmune, it's really, we go through a whole different type of appointment of looking at what the immune is doing because it's such a key component. Okay. But clearing a lot of these pathogens and a lot of the toxins that we see or supporting the organs will also alleviate the immune. So this is where Dr. Sachin's very clean here and his immune is able to do what it needs to do. Where some people we see, and I'm going to show you some videos very shortly. This is really cool watching that.
I know.
Some videos where you'll see the immune is overwhelmed. It just can be very petite. It's not working as well like this.
I think it's almost meditative to watch this because you can have gratitude for all these things, processes that are happening inside your body in real time, really. And what's really cool is these are cells that were in my body and they're actually not in my body anymore, but the function is still taking place. Exactly. So the cells themselves still have intelligence outside of the body, which is really fascinating to see. And if you're finding this fascinating, just give a thumbs up or a heart because I know there's lots of great comments coming in and this is really, really cool. So tag your friends if you've got somebody who's just struggling with their health or challenged and wants to dig a little bit deeper. Certainly functional medicine is a great approach, but this is kind of real time medicine, almost real functional medicine, if you will. We're seeing the function of these cells in real time, and we're seeing your body in real time taking care of itself and just doing some pretty amazing things. So I'm super fascinated by this. I've had like I said, I've had this done previously, and it's really cool to see how our bodies are in a constant state of dying and being reborn and really just doing whatever they can to use that innate intelligence that's built into each of us to take the best care of us possible. So this is pretty neat stuff. And I just want to share the information again. It's microcellsciences.com, based out of Ontario, Southern Ontario. And Shannon Gregory's got a few practitioners in the area that she's trained. We send our patients here to get live blood analysis so that we can get a deeper look into what's going on inside of them and get some immediate answers to some of their health challenges and concerns. A question that came in, or a comment that came in, they can even see arthritis in your cells.
Absolutely,
so
sure can.
Any indications of that?
Not at all with you, but that's really seen in the immune. We would want to look to see, are we seeing more basophils? Are we seeing inflammatory responses? How acidic is the individual? And do we have things that are making them overly acidic so that we can address? That's bacilli. So that's a good bacteria, actually. I zoomed into this because, again, here's how parasites will damage the cell. This is fabulous to see that. See how it looks? Let me just tighten that up. See how it looks oval? That's what this is right here. There's good and bad type of bacillus. And yeah, let's show them this because I have a visual here of different bacteria because you're seeing what we're seeing. So what this one is probiotic. This is Lactobacillus sporogenus.
Oh, nice.
So this is neat to see that in the system, and that means we're planting the right things we need to. And that's important, again, for you as a practitioner, knowing you have somebody on probiotic, which is expensive. We want to see it working and being flooded in the system. If we're seeing it in the bloodstream, it means it's flooded in the intestinal tract beautifully.
Okay.
Okay.
These guys
Food.
wiggling around.
Food.
Okay, food.
Again, a few more little damaged cells. So how long have we been going? Maybe I'll show them some video of what different ailments will look like. Here again, so I'm zoomed in. Here's a broken immune. See that?
Mm-hmm.
Here's some coccus over here. Dead again. Are you on any microbial?
No.
I think your MCT oil is helping kill some of this.
Okay.
Okay? Again, here's the immune. Just broken. We're going to work on these tubular. Okay? No yeast at all. And yeast is, again, another big thing we see. Hard to know female or male in here. Can't tell. Again, I'm just going to tighten this up. Eggs inside the cell. So I'm going to score you 6 out of 10 in parasites.
Okay.
You don't have tons. You should, and I'm going to show you video, and you'll see why I'm scoring you a 6.
Okay.
I am going to note on the chart that we've got more females than males. It tells you what to do, okay, as a practitioner. Lymphatic looks really good, but obviously, because we're shifting, you know what we need to do to support that.
So what would outward signs of, if somebody can't look at their blood, let's say you're watching this from somewhere around the world.
Yes.
What are characteristics, maybe facial characteristics, skin characteristics, symptomatic characteristics?
That's a great question.
I know with kidneys, like one of the things that I've struggled with, and I always kind of blamed it on my genetics because everyone in my family has it, is dark circles under the eyes.
Okay.
So I know that's often associated with kidneys and maybe liver as well. So is that corresponding?
So fabulous that you bring this up. Because once I start cleaning parasites out of people's systems, it's amazing. The dark eyes go away. I'm actually in the middle of a parasite cleanse right now, which I notice I'm more puffy than normal. So we have our children. Look at your children. And if you're seeing your kids with really dark circles, a lot of allergists will say it's an allergen. Mm-hmm. And it can be, but it could be an allergen to having these pathogens in the body, which is setting things off. And this is where we make great tracks in that area. But when we start working on having the organs function the best they can, and getting rid of all of the junk and getting the system clean as a whistle, you'll see that those darker circles will alleviate. So you almost need to get the body to a 2 out of 10 in parasites. You're never going to get rid of every single one. You're never. It's just, this is life. This is the life we live. We have raccoons pooping in our backyard. We it is what it is. We have pets. They sleep in our beds now. So this is where skin will change. Other characteristics that can change, weight loss. Toxins, as we get rid of toxins, we'll lose weight. And this is because fat will wrap around toxins. Another symptom to these type of things of having overall toxins in the body is, like I had said, sleep issues, digestive upset. But you know what I find? We get all sorts of different symptoms. We can even get ringing in the ear, which we've cleaned out certain bacterias, or progressive sinus infections. And this is where all of a sudden, if they're loaded with coccus or strep because the gut lumens are leaky, they're going to have other symptoms because your natural body's response is to create mucus so it doesn't cross the brain barrier. Makes sense. Yep. And a lot of people who I'd see would be a 10 out of 10 in bacteria or parasites would have higher mucus response because of their body's natural protection. Okay. Constipation is another huge one with a lot of toxicity. Irritable bowel, more of the runs, things like that, are more prevalent with the parasites. And bacteria, wow, you can get an array of symptoms. You really can. And this is where, again, us being practitioners, we got to rule these things out and figure out the safest way to get this out of the body. Because sometimes we can induce strep throat by killing these things.
So there's a question that came up that I just want to touch on. It was from Darcy, and she says, which is the best parasite cleanse to use? We don't know the answer because we don't know what's going on inside you. So the idea behind this presentation isn't to have you run out and buy a bunch of things.
Absolutely.
It's you have to have this test done. You have to have somebody like Shannon who understands how to interpret this information, and then come up with a customized recommendation for you. So knowing you have a parasite, you have to know if it's male or female.
It's true.
What type of parasite
Exactly.
it is, what the overall system looks like, so then you know what level to address first.
100%. 100%. And we're trained in doing this. This is part of our training and why we look at the blood on a different level of not being sterile. We know that we've got lots of stuff happening here, and this is where, you know, ticks and things. Let's talk about Lyme disease, because of my tech, I do see numerous intercellular type of things for Lyme disease. And this is where Microcell Sciences, as a live blood company, we do a lot of research in Lyme disease, a lot of stool samples to back up what we're seeing. Because I am not diagnostic, but I do have an opportunity to be able to see in some cases Babesia, some cases Bartonella. I can't 100% confirm that's what I'm looking at. This is where other testing can back that up. However, we can really see it in the blood and really see it in the cells. But please be aware, I can't for sure say, yes, there's this happening here, because we're not a diagnostic, we're not an MD, okay?
Right.
So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take just a couple little pictures here. I'm going to zoom out, and then I'm going to show you a few videos of what is more extreme cases, okay? Because this is, like I said, you're looking really good. These cells look great. We have very simple stuff to do here, which is exactly what you want to hear. And the nice thing is the immune is helping. As we start clearing this stuff out, we're definitely going to see a major change. But again, look at that immune boogieing along. So I'm going to bring this down, and we'll just keep your blood on screen. And I'm going to actually bring up a little bit of video here so that they can see a little bit of changes and what people can look like. So this is actually somebody that has Sibo. Sibo is a system intestinal overload, okay? And this is where we get an overload of bacteria. Now I just want to, this is a little bit of a longer video, I just want to pause this right here and show you all what we're looking at, because it's a bit overwhelming. So you can see this big long worm up here, okay? I don't know what kind of worm this is, unfortunately, because this person, we were peeling a major part of their body. And what I mean when I say that is, taking care of the blood is a little bit like peeling an onion. Sometimes for us, again, as practitioners, we've got to pick and choose one thing we want to work on that is their main complaint, deal with that, and sometimes a few other things will pop up as we clean the blood. So this was right in the middle of a cleanse with this person. They were feeling a lot better, a lot less bloated, a lot of different things were happening here. But this individual was at this point having irritable bowel symptoms. Unfortunately, getting this stuff out, we have to go through a little bit of a bump sometimes. So over here we have, it's called an ascete. It's a type of parasite, a type of bacteria that's evolving a little bit. This is Cocobacilli. This is a form of a bacteria, but the problem is with this one is we see biofilms as well because of running HT. Biofilms is a whole nother live video, okay? I'm not going to touch upon that too much because this gets very deep scientifically, doesn't it?
Right.
But basically what a biofilm is, it wraps around bacteria, or bacteria will create a biofilm to protect oneself or to protect itself. So I'm going to press play again, and we're going to just kind of scoot around. So you can really see the pathogens. You can see here we've got bacteria, parasites, and there's actually a little bit of strep throat coming out of there. Over here, we're seeing the immune. Doesn't know what to do. It's like, holy macaroni, I have no idea what to do. We've got a bit of a biofilm around this bacteria. You've got a whole bunch of parasites thriving.
Is this blood?
This is blood. This is a normal patient that I see. This is a normal day for me.
Oh my God.
And this is where the blood isn't sterile. And it's incredible how we're exposed so heavily.
I don't even see any red blood cells.
I know. It's because I'm in the plasma, because this is very terrain-based for this person, okay? Some people, it's very intercellular. That's fungal. See, that's fungal.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's branching. Here's strep. Do you see that little? So this is where I would write to Dr. Ricky or the practitioners at Living Proof and explain, this is about a 15 to 20-year-old. This person lived in the basement of a house. And this person is having fungal forms because of that as well. And we're pulling this out along with getting rid of the bacteria.
20 years old?
Isn't this incredible? So look at it. It takes time for this to evolve like this. And this is why this person is in much more of a circumstance, because we're yanking all this out.
So
and they can see this coming out of the stool.
They had Sibo, but what other symptoms did they have?
Bloating, major pain in the stomach. They were having joint fatigue, arthritis symptoms, headaches. And at this particular point, this person was having progressive diarrhea. Now, I did put this individual on a very strong probiotic, which is called Sacro B. And I needed to flood this individual's system to get them through this hump, unfortunately.
This is the before or during?
This is the during.
Okay.
Okay, this is in between. But I wanted to show this to you because there's just so much going on here.
Right.
And it's hard because in this background, this is at this appointment, you also have to understand that this can be overwhelming. We're trained to make sure you're not leaving here thinking, oh my gosh, because this is okay. We can deal with this. This is doable. We know how to deal with this, and we're going to watch this change, okay? I can't get into the ins and outs because this is very in-depth of how to deal with this. This is where you and I go to school to find out all of this.
Right.
And why you pay us to see us. So this is a lot going on and has to be done safely and monitored by a practitioner. Okay?
You mean you can't just
you can't just go walk in anywhere.
Go to Whole Foods and
No.
show the desk clerk what needs to be done?
Exactly.
Stock boy? Here
is what cancer looks like. I think this is really important because I'm asked this question regularly. Sorry guys, I'm just looking for the video. This is, let me just get there. I've got to be looking right at it right here. Cancer is, and I'm going to zoom into this, okay? So this is what cancer will look like, a form of it, okay? This particular individual has asbestos cancer. Now, what we're looking at, because I've had a microbiologist and somebody from a blood lab look at this, I've been confirmed this is fungal cancer. And you can see this looks very fungal. And this is actually taken over the cell and destroyed the cell. It's quite overwhelming looking.
Wow.
So this is where there's lots of different things that we can see. Live blood, I cannot look at you and go, you have cancer. Usually the people that see me already know there's stuff happening, and I'm preventing. This individual we've done lots of different things with and was given 3 months to live, and we're now well over 2 years. And these are the things you and I do. So it's really important. And again, we're trained to walk you through. It's okay to see this. It's scary, yes. But as a cancer patient, you want this out.
Right.
And when this person started getting it out using microbials, they were getting fuzzy things come out of their stool. They were getting fungal forms coming out. Fascinating. Okay? So I'm just going to play that one more quick time because I know I can see everybody here is giving this hearts and so on. So I just want to give it a quick moment just so you can see. I'm just going to speed that up so you can look at it. It's just crazy. It looks like it should be a Loch Ness Monster a little bit, doesn't it? Like it's kind of creepy looking. Moving from there, one other little video. I want to show you what a Lyme patient will look like. We've got a lot of stuff happening. You've got a major B12 deficiency here. We've got a form of babesia being seen in the cells here, okay? What is babesia? It is from a nymph tick when they bite you, and even though you have babesia, it doesn't mean you have Lyme disease. It's a co-infection.
Right.
But this individual has coccus. This individual does have bacteria growing. It's like they're growing a bit of a tail. It's called binary fusion, okay? So I don't want to get into all of that. You can see all sorts of worms in the background. You can see many female parasites in here. Lots of coccus. Here's coccus with binary fusion happening. Binary fusion is when coccus is starting to spread. It's the easiest way for me to kind of explain is when it's creating another mini-me, as per se. Agree? Kind of the easiest way to describe. Now, what's wonderful about this person is their cell structures are beautiful. So their constitution is awesome. And we can change this. I do have numerous doctors that's part of Microcell, and also at Living Proof that can again deal with Lyme disease and different pathogens like this, because this takes a different kind of support for the system.
Not treat it.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
That's right. This is, now I do have a naturopath, 2 of them that do treat Lyme disease naturally. Okay, so if anybody's interested in that, they can certainly reach out to me. And I do have 2 that are microbiologists as well, as an on side. So again, I just wanted to note all the eggs in the cell. This is very similar to Bartonella, okay? It's missing a little bit of legs here, but we can't confirm it is not or is not. Here again, another co-infection to Lyme disease. I'm moving quickly here through. Another little worm. So ultimately, we want to get these cells intercellular-wise and in the plasma clean, so we don't have these layers of co-infections, okay? Now, is there any questions for anybody that we could answer, that I can show you anything that I may have?
Sherry's asking heavy metals. Can you see
heavy
heavy metals?
Oh, yes. Good that you brought this up. Absolutely, heavy metals can be seen. It depends on what's seen in the blood too, because that is one that we need to peel that onion. Okay, that is one that sometimes we got to clear pathogens, clear the liver toxins before I can see the metals. Okay, now a lot of people, when they're chelating, and what that means is when we're trying to get metals out, okay, this is where I could see a high amounts. I could also see many kidney indications along with that, which enables the practitioners to give support to know. I have a lot of different doctors. I have 3 different doctors, MDs as well, that do chelation, that utilize this tool. Okay? So we're just reading a few of the comments here. So
Tracy had a question earlier, and I saw it, but I didn't have a chance to answer it. And she was saying, why do some practitioners invalidate this type of approach?
Again, love it. Okay, so Tracy, that's a great question. I'm so glad you asked that. We talked about this at the beginning. So basically, a lot of people don't believe in live blood, or MDs don't believe in live blood because of that sterile environment. They believe that if we were seeing bacteria and all these things, or coccus even in the blood, that we would be going septis, which means we need to be hospitalized. It means we need to be IV intravenous. Well, it's not like that anymore. Unfortunately, our blood, our bodies have adapted to these things. And that's where there's a huge barrier between alternative medicine and Western medicine. Now, Tracy, there actually is MDs across Ontario that do practice live blood in conjunction with writing pharmaceuticals. So we're starting to be more aware that the blood isn't as sterile as we once thought it was. And that's the big thing. That's the biggest barrier. Our gut lumens are leaky. And unfortunately, because of all of the 70s, 60s even through now, we've been exposed to so many different things. We're traveling all over the world, and this has opened our body up to enabling these things to thrive. And we've adapted. And that's the honest to God, what it comes down to is your immune is adapted, and I see it every day. So this is where this is a fantastic tool, but there's MDs that believe in this and understand that, Sibo is actually out there. I mean, this is, again, a big barrier that we're trying to cross. Now, Tracy, I saw another one on here of somebody saying, why did this not come up on stool samples? That's another excellent question, where it doesn't always come up on stool samples because the Ascaris parasite, they deem as non-pathogen. The amoeba, they deem as a non-pathogen. It's okay to have it in your body. Sorry, guys, I don't believe it's okay. Not with all the cancer we're seeing, all the diabetes, all the different type of disease we're seeing. It's not okay anymore. And our GI specialists on the Western medicine side, they're booked 6-8 months a year. And a lot of it can be something that we can help with those bowel symptoms, all sorts of different things. So this is where I think what they need to do is they really need to look at what, the Western side, what they feel is a pathogen or not. But they're still living very much in older, to a certain degree, technology. This is part of OHIP in Malaysia. It's part of OHIP in UK. So this, in other countries, they deem this very important.
So this is covered, is what you're saying?
It is, yes.
A question came up earlier, which of course is the next question that people would have if they're interested in this, is the cost.
Yep.
So what is the cost of an assessment like this?
Perfect. So a cost to see us, I try to keep our costs very, very reasonable because I want anybody and everybody to see us. So if you're referred by Living Proof, you get a special price because they're referring you. We are giving them parameters. So it is only $110.
What?
Yep. So I know. I do this very, very at a good price because I want anybody to do this.
That's very reasonable, guys.
Yeah.
So
it is $130 if you're not having a practitioner where you're not referred by a practitioner.
Okay.
And this can be any practitioner. This could be your nutritionist. Because nutritionists have excellent education and I run parameters for them. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they don't know if it's parasites or yeast. So this is I'm sending the report to a practitioner. If you see me and you want us to treat you, it's $130. And keep in mind, we may give you some herbs and vitamins, so it could get up to, $200 or $220 walking out the door. Mm-hmm. Some insurance companies do cover this too. Great West Life covers it, as well as Blue Cross, but it depends on your personal coverage, of course, and what your company buys into. Okay?
Do you fly out to places? We've got people asking.
I've been asked this a lot. I think this might be a possibility in the future. We've thought a lot about flying to New York, where there's a particular Lyme doctor there. There's been a lot of thought going to the U.S. However, it's tricky with the U.S. because in Canada, this is non-regulated. In U.S., they don't allow us to use lancets. And it's very much like naturopaths. They don't allow us to prick and draw blood. So it's only certain states I could come into.
So a couple questions that are coming in is I think I know the answer, but I'm just going to answer it anyway. Have you answered? Can people send their samples into you?
No.
Okay.
You would it's live, it's fresh, right on the screen. Mm-hmm. But if anybody's interested in doing it through a layered sample, so those people in the U.S., you can send me a dried blood sample. I would have to go over how to do this. You get yourself slides, which are very inexpensive on Amazon. Okay, and then you dry the sample. It's a different way of looking at the blood. We can't see bacteria because bacteria has to be now. Mm-hmm. But I can see dead parasites on the slide. I can see liver toxins. I can see bone health. I can see metals and calcium. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can email me through the website and I will give you the tools to send me a sample. And it's very inexpensive. I only charge $50 for me to review that, and you get a telephone consult with myself or one of my practitioners to walk you through the results. Again, I try to keep everything affordable so anyone can see me.
Yeah,
or us.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
Us.
Cool. So just in the sake of, being respectful of Shannon's time, we're going to, you'll be able to watch this again. You'll be able to go to the website and learn more about this process. I'm sure you guys found it fascinating. And Anna, who's asking, we're in Ontario in Oakville, which is just outside of Toronto. Beautiful city in Toronto, just outside of Toronto. And we did share the website, Mehul, so you can just scroll up and that'll be in there. If you enjoyed this video, please show us some love, show us some hearts, show us some likes, and certainly we'll provide all the information. So for those of you that are interested in getting this type of testing done, you certainly can. And I saw a few of you post that it is worth the trip up to Canada.
It is.
I would say so, right? To me, this information is priceless. So
exactly.
I don't know what.
Pack a car.
Yeah.
5 of you.
Bring your family up there.
Again, if you are coming from the States and you are packing a car of 5 people, let me know. Maybe I can bring another tech in and we can do this faster. There's lots of things I can do where, we can talk. Okay.
Yeah. And Keishan says, great Christmas gift. Yes, absolutely. Great Christmas gift.
It really is. Yeah, absolutely. If anybody is booking, and like I said, they do see a practitioner, please make sure when you're booking at one of the offices, you make sure you say who the practitioner is so that you do get that price. I also noticed another question. Is the $50 for the layered on top of the $110? No, it is not. That's 2 separate things, okay? So ultimately, it's $130 for the full visit to see us. Okay, or $110 coming from a practitioner.
Okay, awesome. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We love you all. Thanks for tuning in and watching this consult with me. And it was just fun to see my blood in action, and got some work to do, as I imagine all of us do. So I just tried to be transparent and show you guys the things that we do to try to stay healthy, the things we try to do to keep our patients healthy. And this was just one of the tools, but I found it very fascinating. I know a lot of you found it fascinating, so thank you once again. And Deepa's up next, but we're not going to share her results because I don't have her permission to do that. So let's sign off and wish you guys well. Thank you.
Thank you.